slated for? Is it just gonna be hanging out there just like that? Is it gonna be earmarked for something?
I think, sir, what it is, it boils down to is that if you equate what the town employees were having to do with their labor costs, that's what it would cost. There's no, it
No
means,
actual real savings
Right.
to the table.
Right.
but it means town employees, Brenda and staff and Brittany's, several employees will now be able to do other things than the manual stuffing and the sorting of the pink slips and then getting the 2 or 3 guys to go out and deliver them. Often they weren't always greeted as liberators, so to speak.
Speaking of pink slips, looking at the notices that were sent last year for this exact month and time period, it was 326. This month, this time period is 366.
Wow. Okay, interesting. That's what.
Would you not notice one thing about that though? A lot of people know that they have a long period of time to play it. And when it comes down to paying it, they don't have the money, so that's where your pink slips come in at.
You can blame this guy right here for extending it to 2 weeks. And
Trying to find common ground with the folks last council.
And that's good. I mean,
And
we've tried.
We tried.
We've tried.
The council can hold his head up and said, we gave it a shot, guys, try to get these pink slips down, give you more time to get it paid, but the end result is you stayed steady or just a slight increase in the number of pink slips.
But it shouldn't be too terribly shocking because we are, as we've said ad nauseum, and any of y'all that have come here, and a lot of y'all come here all the time, we're 74% low to moderate income. That's, LMI doesn't mean poor, but also of that 74%, a lot of folks are poor. I saw Jacob Allman with a question.
Sorry, works towards getting like auto pay, put a card on it, and just have it, take it out of your card. We're talking about utility bills, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably a big possibility people just forget. I mean, I know I got every single other bill I own on auto pay, except for the town of Blackstone utility bill.
Well, it would have to be voluntary. I think people have to sign up. I'm not sure all our residents would be eager to have that automatic withdrawal, but it's certainly an option.
I've looked into it.
Yes.
Our accounting system will not do that at this time. It won't interface. It would just be manual entry to do it. But there's a new accounting system that I've looked into that can do all that.
Cha-ching.
I would like it because I ran down here on Labor Day weekend, dropped it in praying that I didn't get a pink slip, I didn't get a late notice, so I couldn't remember if I was late or not. It was for Labor Day weekend.
If you listen to Jennifer's code for new accounting system, I think we are looking at some options right now and trying to figure out costs and things that may work as well.
It's
as
good for us to move into the 21st century sometimes.
But Mr.
Whether it
Alma
costs
raises a
you
good
money
point.
or not.
Mr. Alma raises a good point, though. A lot of people, that's how they exist. All their bills are paid
How
like
they
that.
live.
So that would really increase savings even more.
Even to just get it where you can see how much the bill is. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, you can already do that. But you have your online system, and you can like put in an amount, but at the time, I don't remember how much it was, so I just paid a little extra.
We like that. That's our tip.
You don't get a credit either, so.
I see Mr. William Clark. Mr. William Clark.
I got a question. If I'm not mistaken, when you use your credit card, you gotta pay some kind of interest. So how can the people that paying a pink slip gonna have to pay an extra fee to the town for the use of this credit card?
My understanding, Mr. Clark, is that the credit card company we go through charges the town.
I understand, but I mean,
I know what you're saying. It seems like we're piling on.
how can they pay $4 extra for you?
2.85% if I'm not.
I mean, just a question.
It's a fair question. And I wish I had an easy answer. What you're saying is the town could show some compassion to the pink slip person. Say, look, the pink slip person is coming in to pay on plastic.
Thank you.
We rather have that payment, and we'll eat the $2 for the transaction just to not have to go cut them off and go through all that.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to be able to pay my bill lately because I went through that type thing.
Right.
Man. You gotta live that and to know it.
That's something that maybe we could look at. I mean, but you're talking about 360 pink slips a month on average, 350.
If you talk, I mean, the average light bill's what? Light, water, and sewer is probably gonna be what? $200, $300 when it comes to.
I think we had already dropped the $25 down to $12.50, if you remember is it a pink slip charge or cutoff?
Both, $12.50 for pink slip and $12.50 for cutoff.
So if you make a pink slip, it used to be 25.
25.
25, if you remember, we cut that in half.
Yep.
Try to
So
soften the
you
blow a little
figure
bit.
if
But the
it's-
2.85 is really a bill that we get from our credit card company, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's another programming issue, it's just the company we use charges,
Yeah.
there's really no way around it.
So you figure
Unless you-
$9 on
company?
average. There's not, that's cheap actually.
That
for
is
credit
pretty,
cards.
it is.
You're not gonna find much cheaper.
When you think about it, it would apply to every transaction, not just the late ones, not just the pink slips,
That's all.
but anybody that pays their utilities, their taxes, or anything on that card, that the town would have to.
Well, Mr. Clark is saying though, if we knew the number of people that pay their pay with a credit card or pink slip, you can keep track of it. Say it's $2.50 a transaction, it's 10 transactions like that, that's $25 that we would, well,
We used to get 50, now we get.
it'd be hard not to charge those people though, the way it's set up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
When you go into the.
it's a fairness.
The spirit of what Mr. Clark says is true though. you
Yeah,
know,
it does have merit, but, and then it's a fairness issue upon all of them
Who pay on time.
who pay on time.
Let's keep that in the back of our minds though, as a budget.
Mr.
There's another
Johnson
hand.
back with peanut.
Hey, Mr. Johnson, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 'cause I've been online to pay my light bill, and they charge me $9 a pay with a check.
$9.
You can't pay with
There's
the
gotta
It
be
came
another
up with
reason.
it came up when I looked at it, it said $9, so I jumped in the car and came in and dropped it in the box.
There may have been some other penalties.
That's, there's another website out there, it's called VOX website. If you Google Town of Blackstone, there's two sites that come up, it's our website and another one. And you can use a check or card on that site, but they charge you an outrageous fee, and they will actually mail us a check from their company. And we won't get it for like 7 to 10
And
days.
I think we flagged that as a fraud alert, but we.
That's almost like a fraud website. That's a racket.
So make sure you go to Town of Blackstone VA and then
.com.
go
Yeah,
from
it's
there.
legal, they can do it. It's a bill pay website.
Okay.
They pay your bills for you, but they charge you an outrageous fee.
Yeah, I pay by check and I never get a fee on a check. Yeah.
I pay my check.
Yeah.
But if you use that website by mistake, it says Town of Blackstone on the website.
I tell you what, the electrical system is definitely a blessing, but there are times up here it doesn't always feel like that. I know for our residents it doesn't either, but in case you're wondering, Southside Electric, they just announced they're going up 7%.
Is that what the percentage came out?
7%, 6.8 some for residential.
6.875.
Yep. So and they don't have you don't have a meeting you can go to and beg for mercy or so that is one advantage of the town having this light system. So you're the shareholders and that's the board of directors. Moving right along to committee referrals. Drainage improvements between 3rd and 6th Streets. How'd that come from?
That came from, as a result of the stormwater plans that were submitted for the apartments on Second Street. Okay, there was much negotiation and back and forth with the state, and one of the things that I asked B&B to look at is off-site. Because I've seen Third Street get a lot of water over the top of Third Street in the past. And I said to B&B, take a look at downstream and see if we're creating any kind, or is there any kind of blockages or any kind of fall problems or pipes that are too small, any of that sort of thing. And they've come back with a fairly daunting project, which I think can be broken into pieces. But I'd like to sit down with the street committee or the committee of your choosing and start talking a little bit about the drainage. If nothing else, cleaning out that ditch that runs between 3rd and 4th and parallel to 4th Street and either widening it or opening it up.
You've got a wooded lot on 4th Street that just is trash all in the ditch.
It traverses that property that we're talking about.
Okay. We've taken care, I will order that to the Street and Light Committee as your recommendation. And we've taken care of fire sirens. I would like to, and Tessie, our town attorney and I have discussed this. Many of y'all may know, blight, is an issue. And these grants sometimes take care of the blight for us. You've heard tonight several homes just being demolished, and most of the times the property owner is happy about it. There are lots in Blackstone that don't violate the weed ordinance. The homes are sort of still structurally sound, but they really are an eyesore in the area. So I've been talking to Tessie. Someone sent me a statute where Petersburg's have a big discussion about blight, and there's something in the state code that might give us a little more flexibility to go after blight. Now, of course, each of us may have our own definition of blight. We each have different tolerances, or we may know the property owner, which may affect our judgment as to whether or not that's blight. But I like to see the town take a little bit more aggressive stand within being constitutional, not big government. And I'd like to refer to the Health and Ordinance Committee some of the dialogue and emails Tessie and I have had about maybe going to the next step. There's a lot in my neighborhood that's been discussed. I've tried my best to work and be a liaison between the property owner and those who are interested in buying it. But I think we're going to have to maybe get a little tougher on some of these unpleasing. I'm not saying we go around and say, hey, your paint's chipping, please paint your house. But not that. Yeah. But where there are lots that are growing up in homes or just, they're not fit for habitation, they won't be. So I'm gonna refer that to the Health and Ordinance. And that's Ms. Jones's committee. And this will be a long process to do it right. Under the mayor's minute, I want to say to the Chamber of Commerce, see Ms. Ames here, Saturday, from everyone I talked to, and it was one of the busiest days in the history of the Arts and Crafts Festival. My wife, she praised the festival. She said it looked like more vendors this year.
We had over 100. We had 105 that were registered to be there, and they all showed up. And a few extras.
And Walter Mack did a good job with the cars on the tavern. I think it really was a good showcase for Blackstone. I did not hear negative. I heard some people say, "Oh, I didn't know the petting zoo wasn't going to be here," but no one was upset. But not where it normally is.
No, we moved it back because they had cows.
Right. And Scooter Kogar, we had World Championship Lumberjack. It was just a great day. Great day. I just want to give y'all two little bits of information. It appears kind of unofficial right now, but I think on the October 15th Virginia Tech football game, the town of Blackstone is going to be formally recognized at the UNC game at halftime for being the birthplace of the Tech Triumph fight song. That's something y'all approved, a historical marker for that last month. So Sandra Tanner with Virginia Tourism has got a lot of ideas where we can really play on that Virginia Tech fight song being from here and play on the large presence of Virginia Tech alumni that not just live here but come through here. This is just a general comment. I've had a lot of breakfast meetings lately with a lot of different people. We have a lot of people that are moving here, and some that have lived here for 5 to 10 years that we don't even know. I'm just starting to get to meet. And we've heard a lot of talk here in these chambers about, ecology, ecotourism, birding trails, which does not excite me. I'm just not a birder, but I'm running. I'm not.
You're not a bird.
But I'm running into more people that are into birding, into outdoor recreation, and I feel like we really need to be attentive and receptive to their ideas. One gentleman has proposed that we try to team up with Fort Pickett on a different matter, recreation, have a race on the runway, or a 10K or a 5K. So I may be coming back at a later date with some requests for committees to look at it. There's a yearning, the people I talk to, they love Blackstone. They think it's safe, they think it's neat. My new neighbors from Richmond, they said we didn't know they lived in Richmond their whole lives, and they really didn't know about never really heard of Blackstone. They've got distant relatives here, they moved here, and they said, we're really nervous about coming here for a variety of reasons, and we just love it. It's just untapped treasure. And I heard that all weekend of people who live within an hour here and never really been here. So just want us to be observant that we never know who's watching us, and we go out and meet people. And one last question, I'll let you go. When we get a new business or a new residential utility customer, do they get any sort of welcome guide, or like, hey, okay, welcome to, you're living on 8th Street or Fall Street, whatever, welcome to Blackstone. This is, do we?
Your council member is?
Yeah.
No, they don't get
We
it.
don't have anything put together. We give them information as they ask, or, let them know about everything, but we don't have an actual packet that we
I
hand
think you need to reinvent the wheel. I think all we need to do is have a bag of some sort.
Right.
Put in brochure, pamphlets.
Just about events, Arts and Crafts. I just feel like I've met a lot of people who've said they love Blackstone, but they feel like they were disconnected. They don't feel like, I don't know whose job it is to go and be the, if I meet somebody, I try to embrace them, but we may not be as outgoing, and it's just not intentionally, but there's a lot of people coming in and looking at us. I think we need to put a good
We
foot
become
forward.
complacent, being that we're from here.
Right, we think we know everybody, and we don't know anybody. Mr. Johnson.
Just one last question. Still, us and the Army people and everybody else meeting with the county people about coming and helping out for the community center, recreation, whatever. Why can't you all set a meeting and see what the county is talking about? And see what their feedback is and what they will do. Not us, because they're not gonna do it for us.
Right.
But
Well-
if you all go up there and talk to them, they might change their mind and do something, and come along aboard and help out.
Well, the status, and I'm glad you mentioned that, the status of your request made last month about the community center with indoor track, indoor pool, that is at the Parks and Recreation Committee right now, which has not met, but we'll be meeting, I'm sure, in the next several weeks. And I think after they discuss it, I think that might be a good time to find out from the county what, if anything, they're willing to put up. Because that's going to be key, Mr. Johnson. You said something tonight that kind of got my attention, and that is, if you can't do both, don't do any of them. I hear a lot of taxpayers who say that. Since in the last 6 weeks, I've had a lot of people say, look, just focus on basic services, be good to people, be a good neighbor, and just stay the course. course, I hear some people say you got to do the Armory, and I have some people say, please do the pool. And as elected officials, when both sides are loud and amped up, we're humans. We don't like, none of us like conflict like that.
Right, you know, and I just want to emphasize one more thing, my march is not against the Armory at all, it's trying to bring the peoples together.
Amen.
I mean, this ain't about no Armory, about Louis Johnson.
Right.
If all us come together, we can agree on things a lot more easily.
I agree. The only thing I would ask, and I'd ask, this is not geared at you per se, it's geared to everybody here in these chambers, white, black, Hispanic, whatever. I just ask people this. It's like I tell people in my business, if I make a mistake or I've done something that upsets you, please let me know immediately. Or don't let it harbor it, or don't go run on Facebook and say Billy Colburn is blah, blah. Because no one's going to respond favorably to that. But if I'm aware, I heard you tonight, I will say, we've still got work to do, but I look at all the things, the outreach that the town is trying to do, and all over Blackstone, and really a lot of the projects have taken place in the minority neighborhoods because that's where the LMI has been, generally speaking. I think we have made great strides, so it kind of makes me sad to hear, there are parts of your speech tonight that made me think, man, it's bleak, it's bad, and the only way we're going to let it fight it is, look, when someone sees something, hey, that was a mistreatment, that was a miscarriage of justice, you got to make a list and tell somebody. Because just general vague statements about, which I agree, we're all for love and unity. That's the easy march to march. But we need specificity with complaints.
But don't get discrimination wrong, man, because it's on both sides. Blacks are discriminating against the whites, so I mean, it ain't just the white discriminating against black.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing it towards each other.
Right.
And the only way we can resolve this stuff, we gotta talk about it.
I agree with that.
If you never talk about it, it's never gonna get the same.
Amen to that.
It's gonna stay the same.
You got to be able to talk about it. You got to be able to chuckle about it. I like there's several people.
Go on afterwards.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Question for Josh.
Oh, let me get Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark.
Yeah, and I follow on Peanut, because I love peace and quiet. I think the council in town should really think on the town sponsoring some kind of family, something for family, and invite everybody to it, something real nice and subtle, and give everybody time to come out and meet each other. I mean, really show them that we love each other.
Blackstone Community Celebration, maybe an annual picnic.
Involved, and just have a big something somewhere, maybe in the ball fields over there, something, but for the whole neighborhood, something like what Peter's doing, but just, he got a good point. I haven't personally, in my adult years, experienced racism, but I'm quite sure it's there. And we got to butt it down before it get anywhere, We haven't had no outbreaks, nothing like that, that's a good thing.
Amen.
So we got to control it now before it get, and I see where Peter coming for, it get to the level, like some places bad.
Right.
But we lucky, we got people to get along, and we got to keep it going at a nice little thing so we can keep loving each other and getting along.
One of Blackstone's newest residents, they told me they were concerned about moving here, and I said, well, what are some of the concerns? They said, well, moving to the old South town and black and white relationships, because they watch a lot of TV. And I said, well, tell me what you found. What have you discovered? She said, and they moved here not long after the Shiloh tragedy. So, they just said they were so touched that the community has come together. But Lewis made a comment a couple of weeks ago that we do come together after tragedy and things that really, it's like 9/11, the whole country was united. But then we go back and do our own little separate, we kind of go back to our houses and go back to life as normal. So there's a lot of good comments that are made tonight. And
Well, we have something coming up this next couple of months is with the different wards, the cookouts.
Yep.
The partnering.
True, that starts, the first one's Wednesday. Thank you, Ms. Hasbrook. Wednesday, was it Falls Street? Is it Falls and Sullivan?
Schiller's Ward, isn't it?
No, Sullivan Taylor, I'm sorry.
I
That's
believe
two-
GBI is hosting an event in the square for a community cookout or
Late
event.
October, more detailed.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
got a
talked to the
question.
chief about the cookouts, and I asked him could he extend it to at least two times in each ward, because you all be surprised how many young kids is running around here don't even get a good meal. And you sort of looked at who coming to that cookout, you see the same ones.
Every time, the same people.
Right.
So I spoke to the chief a couple of days ago about at least trying to at least start doing 2 times in each ward or something, or you gotta extend it a little longer.
Okay.
Because until you realize that how our people don't live good, you got to see it, the experience it.
Let's agree on this. Let's try to do it better. Let's try to, when new accounts or new people move to town, open accounts, let's see if we can get together with the chamber, anybody, or whoever, to give them some kind of information about Blackstone. about events and that sort of thing. And I like the idea William said, maybe, I'm not gonna refer to a committee yet, but maybe an annual event that we can plan to, Blackstone celebration or just, annual Blackstone, event to bring us all together, the park or the square or somewhere.
Day.
Blackstone Day, yes, yes.
Yes, Josh.
We are
Yeah,
Blackstone.
yes, Nathaniel Miller has a question
I
for
have a
Josh.
que- Josh, I got a phone call today about you cutting bus services or something.
Yeah, it was reduced on Saturday. You talking about the Blackstone line here in town?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was reduced from 9 to 5 to 10 to 2.
Okay, have you put that out? Because a lot of people don't seem to know about it, and you got a lot of people that's upset about it.
Yeah, we put a notification out all through the month of June. We are required by state law to do at least 30 days of advertising before that takes place.
Can we put up something to remind them of
Yeah,
this?
absolutely. It's on all of our brochures, but we'll definitely put a notice out.
Okay, because you got a lot of, see what the senior citizens are saying, if they get a check on Friday, they like to ride on Saturday to shop. And they say by you cutting the bus services, it kind of hurts them. So I was thinking maybe we could sit down and talk about maybe when, like check days or something like that, if it comes up on a Saturday or
First falls
something.
on it, yeah.
Then we go ahead and keep it to the same thing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Good point, good point. That's all I have. You have, Mr. Morgan?
I would like to publicly tell Mr. Clark, good game yesterday.
Very good.
But he know what I'm gonna tell him.
We also have an opportunity for citizen comments. Anyone tonight wishes to address council that is not done on a topic? I know we have a closed session. Are we gonna have a closed session? We are, and what's it, legal matters? Okay. I'd entertain a motion to go into closed session to discuss legal matters with legal counsel. Can we say anything more than that? Okay.
If you want to, you can, but.
Can we say this involves the armory? Is that true? Okay, all right. I see a hand in the back, yes.
Will I be able to know by the end of the night if I still have the armory for my reception? So that way if I don't, then I can figure out what I need to do.
You still got it, but if you're concerned about any possible action, I can't predict. I do happen to have your text. I don't want to make you have to wait outside. If you want me to, if you would like, I will text you after the meeting what happened, if anything. That way y'all can go home and not have to wait outside. But if you're welcome to stay, I don't want you to discourage you from, you're welcome to stay and we can call you back in if you stay outside.
You gotta go to school tomorrow.
You can just text me.
All right, so there you go. All right. Ms. Thompson's moved to go in closed session. Is there a second? Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you everybody for coming out. Really good comments tonight. Really good comments.